Alrighty, welcome to CIT 93 JavaScript at Fresno City College. My name is Ria Waller, and I'm glad you're here. There's probably a lot of different reasons that those individual students are here. Some of you may be from our web developer program, an AS degree, or also from possibly a certificate degree. Some of you may be from Fresno State. There's courses over there that this class meets a requirement for programming, or some of our own courses in the CIT, meaning that's our department level, has some courses that require this class. So it's really fun for me to have students from such different backgrounds, some very interested in programming, some needing to check the box, which is totally understandable. So whichever way you come, like, welcome here, right? So I'm glad you're here. I appreciate your enrollment in this class. I really try to honor that with a course that's set up to really help you learn. But also you may have heard through your life that if this is your first programming course, that some people may have said programming is hard. I don't think that's true. Programming does require a certain amount of commitment, right? But this is true with anything in life that's worth learning. So JavaScript is a great thing to learn because it's also so popular, right? So this is a 4-unit class. We're gonna in a minute I'll go over kind of how the course is laid out. But before we do that, just to give you a little incentive, maybe if you need any, maybe you don't, for why it's a great time to study JavaScript. So let me move my browser over and just show you. Here's the course. I'll come back to this in a minute. But Red Monk is one of the kind of the zeitgeist, if you've heard that term, things that professionals will look at as far as what's popular in the programming space. And there's a lot happening in programming because there's AI coming up. There's, places like GitHub that has, it can write some code for us. But today where we're at is JavaScript is still very much on top. And what's fun for me is I've also taught Python here at City College, and that's really a fun language as well. So JavaScript is still very relevant in our times, and it is good to learn because imagine how much of the web is run. How much of your lives is actually happening on the web. And the most popular programming language on the web is actually JavaScript. And if I look through the list, number 8 is actually a variant of JavaScript. Okay. So by the way, just FYI, Java and JavaScript, two different things. Okay. So that's something that as you learn, you'll realize that if you've taken a Java class after JavaScript, you will definitely see how they're different and vice versa. Okay. But most of you, I suspect this may be your first time in. Okay. So let's talk about the course for a minute here. So as of this point, like I said, I'm recording this early at the middle of the summer. And the reason I do that is I give students a chance to do the week 0 and also to get the course materials for as cheap as possible. That's my big motivations. I have 2 motivations for releasing early. You don't have to work on this class. You can do it the first day of the semester. If you are newer to, setting up what's called dev environments, which if you've never heard that, don't worry about it. It's basically where you code and what you code on. I want to give students a little more time to do that. But let's just go into here. First, the thing you'll see, my friend, let me step back. First thing you'll see here is the way my course is set up. And this first week 0 is even a little different than week 1, is that you'll notice you have to complete the start here before you can even look at the other content. And that's because there's something specific I need you to give me. And this will be also the way I've set up my course going forward. So these things aren't necessarily things you submit, but it helps you understand. And I definitely want you to go through this, and you'll see here as I get further into the content, the different options you have. And then you'll have one last thing you have to do before you actually can get into week 1. Okay, so I just wanted you to know how it's organized. If you go into the start here, which is the video you're watching from me now, the first thing I want to talk about is already did, YJS. Great time to learn it. Still very popular. So course material. So I have really over the years evolved what I use for course materials. And it's a great time to use really well produced content on the web at very reasonable prices, in my humble opinion. So, what I use is I've been using this Udemy course. And actually, at the beginning of summer, I actually spent some time thinking about if I wanted to continue this. And because there are some other JavaScript classes out there. But as I reviewed this and I looked at the student feedback from last semester, they felt like this was a really good course still. There is some updates I do to it as far as just, and you'll see this in the course layout, the way we handle how we go through this course together, because this course is actually our code along part of the class. And then I create little mini projects for you to learn together. And then 50%, and by the way, this accounts for 50% of the grade. The other 50% comes from you actually doing coding projects and doing what's called code review with me. Okay, so let's just go back here. So this program, or this link, is actually going to take you into the Udemy site. Okay, and I have my font set pretty low, or pretty high in that case. So in this case, you can see that this is the course and you can check it out. Here's my recommendation, and the reason I give it to you now is that I want you, if you don't already have an account on Udemy, I would definitely say go ahead and just set up the account. You don't have to purchase right away if you don't already have one. And the reason that is once you get an account, then you will start getting notified of sales on the Udemy course or on the Udemy site. And definitely if you can, and this is another reason to start early, you can get this particular program, this modern JavaScript. I've seen it as low as 10 bucks. And to me, that's like so worth. This course is so worth 10 bucks. It's worth 20 bucks. Honestly, at its retail price at 100, I don't think it's worth that, but and I don't want you to pay that, but I want you to know this is a really good course. The instructor is Andrew Mead. He's really awesome. He updates this course. I bought it in 2018, but he's updated it like 3 times. It needs some more updates, but that's also stuff I can handle in getting you that content. But my point here is simply to say, set up a Udemy account, look for the sales. When you see this particular course on sale, then get it, because that will definitely help you minimize your course cost overall, which is part of what my goal is to give you good quality materials at the lowest price I can find them, because anyway, you know why. All right, so hardware. So this is where, in this particular semester, this is going to change, because it used to be, and you'll see this as we move through this week 0, I used to require students to set up local dev environments. That is an option now, but not required. So it doesn't quite matter as much what hardware platform you're on. It still matters some. I mean, could you do this course on an iPad? I don't think so, right? But I mean, you could do it on a Chromebook, or you could do it on a Mac, of course, and you could do it on a Windows PC, right? But you have more flexibility. Could you do it on a phone? Yeah, I wouldn't think so. But again, I don't know you, and maybe you figured out a way to make this work. The key is, as long as you can meet the requirements of what I need, that's really what's important, honestly, as long as you can get the work done. Okay, so I went over this kind of quickly, and this is what you're going to see as we roll into week 1, is what this looks like. That's why the sooner you get this course purchased, the more ready you're going to be for that week 1 work. When I release this course, hopefully in the next week or so, I'm actually going to also release one in week 2, so students who want to work ahead can, or at least take a look. All right, so one of the things I offer for this course is Discord. If you don't know what Discord is, it's a wonderful web service, website as well. It's called discord.com. I've given you a link to an invite. I'm going to go ahead and open it because I already have an account. And what this is going to do is you can join the Discord community, okay? Our Discord community is pretty active during the semester. Our tutor for this class, yes, we do have a tutor for this class, will be on our Discord as well. But you can also, and I'll link his hours when they become available, so that you'll know that as well. So Discord is something that I don't require you to use, but I want you to know the context at which I use it in this class. I use it for student to student communication. Okay. And this is because often I've noticed, if you're working at a particular late at night, I don't work late at night. I'm kind of an early morning person, not kind of, I actually am. So if you're working and you need some help, Discord is a great way to ask for help. And even if it's not late at night, if it's during the day, you're more likely to see me on there. But the point is that this is really intended for you to talk to each other, and then I will chime in. But if you want to talk to me directly, Canvas is still a great way. Also, my office hours, which will be listed here in the syllabus, which I definitely recommend you check that out. Okay, so this is a link to an invite to the Discord server. Okay, so just let me tell you that once, if you want to join the Discord server, I definitely would love to have you on there. I also have students from prior semesters, so there's a good amount of community. Speaking of community, there is a code of conduct. Matter of fact, if you get into the course, you get into Discord, and you right up here at the top, I follow what's called the Python Community Standard Code of Conduct, and that's a link here because I want you to understand that you are expected to have, be kind and courteous to others, use welcoming, inclusive language, be respectful of different viewpoints. And generally, I have not had any problems in this area, but I just want you to know that this server does follow a code of conduct, and you're just expected to understand that. And if there's any questions, I will clearly point them out as we get going. Okay. Last thing I want to say about Discord before we move on to our last item before you can submit this one is really that once you accept the invite, there's down here, matter of fact, notice there's these text channels that are up here. These are really for students. Anybody can ask questions up in here, so anybody on the server. So a lot of the people that are on the server right now are students that have taken my classes in the past, and they may be posting in here. But we have channels that are specifically for our course, and only students in our course will be able to interact in that case. So what you do is once you get on the server by accepting the invite, then you go to the start here and you ask me to include you in this case in CIT93, which is our course number, right? So you'll want to be included in that channel so that you can then talk to other students in the course. Okay? All right, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, back here. So now we've been through quite a bit of information. I'm trying to keep these relatively short, but the last thing you need to do, probably the most important, besides everything else I've said, is create or provide me your GitHub username. So if you don't know what GitHub is, you're going to set up an account. Okay, I'm actually going to do this. Matter of fact, I'll just click. I'm already signed on. So you can click here. I'm actually going to walk you through with a different account than my own, just the setup of the GitHub, because it is an important part, and I just want you to understand. And here, what you'll end up doing is just telling me what that is, but I'll walk through that entire process. So I'm going to move over real quick to incognito window. I'm going to go to github.com. Okay. I am going to click on sign up. Okay. Now, again, if you already have an account, you're welcome to just provide that to me. If you don't, you're going to sign up. It's a free account. It costs you nothing. Welcome to GitHub Adventures, right? And so I'm going to do an email that of my grandson, believe it or not, and I'm going to provide it. I don't care what email you use here. You just have to provide an email account. So I'm going to hit continue. Okay, so here's where you would create a password for the system. Now for me, right, I actually have systems managed by my local Chrome thing. But in this case, right, I'm just going to, okay, it's strong, which is good. I like that it's strong, it's helpful. Okay, enter a username. So I would say, and this is where I would just say use whatever, but what it will do is see if that username is available. Okay. Sometimes we use the email in GitHub, but typically it's your username. But you'll see how we use GitHub going forward. Okay. And would you like to receive? No, I get enough spam. Thank you very much. Okay. Verify your account. Oh, look at this. Please solve this puzzle. Verify you are human. Okay. Start the puzzle. Oh, good. Click on the spiral galaxy. One's done. Oh, I have to do it again. Oh, I have to do it 3 times. Oh, I did it twice. I verified the account. Go ahead and create it. Okay, cool. We're done. And so what it's going to do now, it's to send me a code over to the Gmail account of whatever I'm using. Again, this you can't use this one. You wouldn't want to anyway. But what this does is it verifies, yep, how many team. We don't have to worry about that. You can just say you're a student. In this case, you don't have to. All right. How many team members? You don't have to worry about any of this. I'll just go ahead and say I'm a student because it won't hurt. Just me. Okay, yeah. So how many team members will be working with you? So we're going to say just me. It's a good question. And although you're going to be working in a team as a class, for this purposes, I'm just going to do that. Perfect. Okay. Man, more and more information. I'm actually not going to select any of this. I'm just going to continue. So I'm done. Cool. And you can fill out or not any of this. Just continue. Oh yeah. So I'm glad I stopped here. Right. So you don't have to totally use the free version of this. Much better. You don't have to pay for it. And boom, we're on to GitHub. So GitHub is like social networking for developers. Okay. All right. So now that you've done that, right? Now that we know the username, right? So here we are, Brody Bays. By the way, again, it's my grandson. What you can do as the last step here is you can just copy this, or you can copy this whole URL, but just the username. Let me just increase this. So oh, it's not doing the address bar. So I'm just going to do this, and I'm going to show you how to submit it. Okay. So I'm going to go back to the start here because this is the last step we did. Now what you want to do is start the assignment, come down here and paste it, right? And then I will show you in a video probably next actually how I actually go about setting you up into the organization. But this is all you need to do here. And I will tell you this, once you do this part, there may be a little bit of a lag because if you're somebody that works late at night, once I see you've submitted this assignment, matter of fact, let me just, well, actually, I'll do that in the next video. We'll just hold that for there. So to get started, you need to do this start here. Provide me your GitHub username so I can do a step to include you in something that is required for this class. Okay. Whew, that's a lot of stuff, Rio. That's a lot of stuff to go through in one video. I hope you got that all. I hope you're excited as I am to get started in this class. Again, you get to choose when, but August 8th, and Monday, is definitely the day. By then, you want to get started. But I look forward to having some of you come in early and kind of play around with the new content because I have some new ways of doing things this semester. And I'm pretty excited about students kind of well learning together because that's what happens with anything. We're all kind of learning together. Not one person knows this. It's just a matter of being willing to learn, which I hope you are since you're here. And I know I am because, it's a continuous process. So I'm glad you're here and you can check out the next item.